Okay, part B of this example. The drama department at Edison is hosting a play. Tickets for the play are $5 for students, and they gave us a variable S to stand for students, and $8 for adults, A. The drama department wishes to raise at least $1,200 from this play and have at most 200 people attend the play. So we have to follow these steps to figure out what they're asking us to do. They're wanting us to eventually graph and give a possible solution. So part 1, identify the system of inequalities that models this situation. So we know that S stands for students and A stands for adults. So those are the two things that we are talking about. We also know that the number of students is going to be 0 or more. So S is greater than or equal to 0. We also know that the number of adults is also going to be greater than or equal to 0 because 0 or more adults will arrive to this play. Okay, the next inequality has to deal with the money of the students and adults and what they want to raise. So the next inequality, how much does it cost for students? $5. So we're going to have 5S plus $8 for an adult, so 8A, and then they want to make at least $1,200. So that means that $1,200 is the minimum that they want to make. So that means the number of adults and students has to make more than that or equal to $1,200. And then the next inequality has to deal with the number of people who attend. So we have students plus adults because those are the only types of people who are attending the play. And they can't have more than 200 people. So it's less than or equal to 200, meaning 200 is the maximum amount of people that can go. So those 4 inequalities make up our system. Remember the first 2, the ones I'm going to box in green, those just tell us to graph the system in the first quadrant, meaning that our y-axis, which is going to stand for adults, is going to be the positives, and then our x-axis, which is going to stand for students, is also the positives. So we really just have to worry about the red and the blue inequalities. So these are both in standard form, so we're going to graph using intercepts. If I plug 0 in for S, I'm left with 8A is greater than or equal to 1,200. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And let's see, 1,200 divided by 8 is 150. Now I'm going to plug 0 in for A, and I'm gonna get 5S is greater than or equal to 1,200. So now we take 1,200 and divide it by 5, and I get 240. Let's graph that. So on the S-axis, which is the x-axis, we have a point at 240. And on the a-axis, which in this case is the y-axis, I have a point at 150. I have a solid line because my inequality was greater than or equal to. So I'm going to connect my 2 red dots with a solid line. Now if I plug 0 in for S, I get 5 times 0, which is 0. Let's use my blue for my test point. So 5 times 0 is 0. I know that 8 times 0 is also 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 1,200? Nope, this is false. So we are going to shade away from 0, 0 on our graph. Like so. Okay, now let's graph the blue. If I plug 0 in for S, I get 200. If I plug 0 in for A, I get 200. So I'm going to come over to my a-axis and plot a point at 200, and I'm going to plot a point on my s-axis at 200, which would be right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and solid line because it's less than or equal to. And there we go. Okay. Now let's check. If I use that same test point, 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 200. 0 is indeed less than or equal to 200, so this is true. So I'm going to shade where 0, 0 is, which is on the bottom of this blue line. And I'm going to color everything below the blue line. Now remember, the portion that we care about is where it overlaps. So where it made kind of a purpley color. Let's emphasize that purple. So all this inside here is my solution set. Okay, so then the last question, or last question of this problem is give a possible solution. So let's see here. If I choose 80 and so I want to pick a point inside the shaded region. So let's say I pick 80, so I'm going to go up 80, up 80, up 80. All of this doesn't work, all this doesn't work, but everything in here works. And then this is going by 20s. So this would be 100, yeah. So let's say maybe 80 and 110. Let's see if that works. So that's a possible solution, maybe. Let's check it out. If I try the blue equation with that, 80 plus 110 is less than or equal to 200. That's 190. Is that less than or equal to 200? It sure is. This is true. Now let's check and see if the red inequality works. So if I do 5 times 80 plus 8 times 110, we have to see if that's greater than or equal to 1200. So that's gonna give me 400 plus 880 greater than or equal to 1200. And that's actually gonna give me 1280. Is 1280 greater than or equal to 200? Or 1200, sorry. Yes, this is true. So that means if 80 students and 110 adults, that right there is a solution and it works out. Now it's your turn to try it.